the humans are suffering endlessly. They are facing so many challenges in their life. They are disappointed, they are fearful. ये एक चीज नहीं है. It's not only emotional, mental issues that have risen drastically, socially, economically, اور اس کے ساتھ اب جو اہم جس چیز پہ آج ہم انشاءاللہ گفتگو کریں گے وہ ہے لیگل. ایسا لگ رہا ہے کہ جیسے کہ the humans are, because of so many challenges, اور challenges بھی جو ہیں وہ صرف ایک نہیں, ایک کے ساتھ جب ایک پریشانی آتی ہے تو اس کے ساتھ اور بھی بہت ساری پریشانیاں آ جاتی ہیں, اور انسان ایسا لگ رہا ہے کہ بھنور میں ڈوبتا ہی چلا جا رہا ہے, ہاتھ پیر مارنے کی کوشش کر رہے ہیں, مگر حالات اتنے بلیک ہو گئے ہیں. I'm specifically talking about UK because we are concentrating on immigration law UK پہ انشاءاللہ. تو اس میں کیا ہو رہا ہے کہ اس میں دیکھیے there is no livelihood, روزگار نہیں ہے, پیسے ہیں نہیں لوگوں کے پاس. کچھ لوگ جو باہر سے یہاں ایز اے وزٹر آئے تھے اب وہ واپس نہیں جا سکتے ہیں کیونکہ ریڈ زون کی کچھ ممالک ہیں جن میں ریڈ زون میں ہے. اسٹوڈنٹس جو وہاں گئے تھے چھٹیاں گزارنے واپس نہیں آ سکتے, کالجز اسکولس کھلے ہوئے ہیں, کتنا وہ آن لائن پڑھیں گے. کہنے کا مطلب یہ کہ ہم ہر طرف سے جو ہے سراؤنڈیڈ ہیں بائی پرابلمس اینڈ ہیوج پرابلمس. کچھ جو ہیں واقعی میں سیریس قانونی گرفت میں بھی آئے ہوئے ہیں. اب اگر کسی لائر کو بھی وہ کنسلٹ کرتے ہیں تو لائر بھی آپ کو پتہ ہے پیسے مانگتے ہیں. تو ایک پریشانی کے حالات میں لوگ مبتلا ہیں. میں نے حالانکہ میں نے مینٹل اور ہیلتھ ایشوز پہ آپ نے دیکھا ہوگا کہ میں نے 2-3 پروگرام کر لیے ہیں, لیکن اس وقت میرے پاس ایک طویل لسٹ آئی ہوئی ہے سوالوں کی ریلیٹڈ ٹو دی امیگریشن, کیونکہ ہوم آفس نے کچھ ایسے رولز اینڈ ریگولیشنز, اور ہوتا کیا ہے آج آپ کو ایک انہی نے بھیجا کہ بھئی یہ ہمارا اب یہ نیا رول ہے, اس پہ اب آپ لوگ کام کرنا شروع کریں. آپ کام کر رہے ہوتے ہیں کہ دوسرے دن دوسرا پھر قانون آ جاتا ہے, نہیں اب یہ کرو. تو بیچارے جو لائرز اور سولیسٹرز وہ بھی بیولڈرڈ ہیں کہ کریں تو کیا کریں, کہاں جائیں تو کہاں جائیں, کس سے پوچھیں, لیکن کسی کا بھی قصور نہیں ہے. یہ آفت ناگہانی ہے جس کا ہماری ہم یہی کہیں گے کہ مکافات عمل ہے. لیکن بہرحال چونکہ اتفاق ایسا ہوا ہے کہ جب سے یہ کووڈ کی وجہ سے, پینڈیمک کی وجہ سے لاک ڈاؤن ہوا ہے ہمارے, میں نے امیگریشن پہ پروگرام لگو بھگ مجھے لگتا ہے کہ 2 سال پہلے کیا تھا, لیکن اب اتنی زیادہ سوالات کی بوچھاڑ ہو چکی ہے کہ میں نے سوچا کہ آج اسی پہ ہم انشاءاللہ اسی مدعے پہ بات چیت کریں گے. تو میری جو مہمان ہے I tell you she's an authority on immigration and she is, I have to, میں ان کو انٹروڈیوس کرتی ہوں پہلے کہ she is a founder and senior solicitor at Ashford Law firm which is based in North Harrow, London, UK, and she has a very competent and efficient team working with her. She has an experience of about 20 years, اور اس نے کافی شی ہیز بین اوارڈڈ, بہت سارے ان کو ایوارڈس بھی ملے ہیں. تو بہت کانفیڈنٹلی وہ ہر چیز کر رہی ہیں اور کرتی ہیں, اور جس کو بھی انہی نے مشکل سے مشکل ترین کیس بھی ہوا تو اس کو بھی انہی نے سارٹ آؤٹ کیا ہے. سو میں چاہوں گی کہ اب زیادہ تمہید لمبی نہ باندھوں, سو آپ سے ان کی ملاقات کرواتی ہوں. تو پلیز ویلکم شالنی بھارگوا. جی شالنی.
Hello, Syeda. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Very well.
Busy?
Really nice to connect with you after a long time again.
Yes, it's been a long time. I think it must be over a year, 2 years, I think. But anyway,
Yes.
Shalini, I have a whole list of questions for you. So I don't know. It depends whether within the time we can finish. If you're not, then we'll continue next week. Is it okay with you? If it's okay with you,
Of course.
yeah.
Absolute
اچھا
pleasure.
اچھا, تھوڑا ہندی اور اردو میں بھی بات کرنے کا ہے, اوکے.
Zarur, zarur.
ٹھیک ہے. اچھا, سو کمنگ ٹو مائی ویری فرسٹ کوشچن اباؤٹ امیگریشن از واٹ آر دا نیو UK visa routes?
Right, Saida, I think a lot of UK visa new routes were going to be introduced last year, but because of COVID, as you said, life and generally everything has been on a hold up. So this year, one something positive news at this time. Generally,
Good.
we get to hear all negative news on UK immigration, but something positive, which is
Something.
the graduate route visa, which is going to be launched from the 1st of July 2021. It
Okay.
is a fantastic category for students who have come to the
Hmm.
UK to study
Hmm.
bachelor's, PhD, or master's,
Hmm.
and their leave is either expiring just after the 1st of
Hmm.
July or
Hmm.
28
Hmm.
days before the 1st of July, would be
Hmm.
able to make an application under this category, which
Okay.
allows these students who are
Hmm.
graduates can it would give them the permission to work in the UK for a period of 2 years.
Okay.
The good thing
Okay. Okay.
about is they don't need a sponsor. They would have full freedom to get employment anywhere of their choice. So whether it might be some people, because it's not a skilled position at, for
Hmm.
example, a local grocery store, or if they are professionals, they want to go and work for an accountancy firm or in a professional environment, they are free to take up a job of their choice
Hmm.
anywhere. So
Hmm.
that's fantastic, which would give them good exposure of working life in the UK, not just the academic background. So this is
Hmm.
a fantastic category.
Hmm.
UK government had closed a similar route, which used to be there several years ago, called the post-study work visa. So it's very
Hmm.
similar to that category. Uh,
Hmm.
Post that, since the government stopped this route, UK became an unpopular country in respect of students coming to study
Hmm.
at university.
Hmm.
So I believe that
Hmm.
now with the introduction of this
Hmm.
graduate route visa,
Hmm.
UK is again going to be a popular country for students to come and study bachelor's, master's, PhD,
Hmm.
giving them the good exposure to professional working life.
Okay. Chalo,
The
something positive to think about, especially poor students के लिए बड़ा मसला था पहले, बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान होते थे क्योंकि openly they wouldn't be able to work anywhere, like you said. Now they can, to gain experience, isn't it?
यस यस एब्सोल्युटली,
अच्छा.
बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगर पढ़ने के लिए आना चाहते हैं तो सभी चाहते हैं कि थोड़ा सा वर्किंग लाइफ
हाँ.
का भी
हम्म,
एक्सपोजर हो, सो जब वो अपनी
बिल्कुल.
कंट्री या तो वापस जाएंगे या वो यहाँ सेटल होना चाहते हैं, इट जस्ट पुट्स
हाँ.
देम ऑन अ बेटर फुटिंग.
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही.
The
अच्छा.
yeah,
हाँ. हाँ.
the other good category that has been introduced, which started actually on the 1st January 2021.
हम्म.
This is replacing the old work permit visa under the Tier 2 General. So it's called a
Okay.
skilled workers visa. So that
Okay.
started from January 2021. The
Okay.
good thing, again, it's not a negative outcome. This is something really positive under the skilled worker visa route. So applicants who are professionals or not highly qualified individuals can apply to come on workers visa. The
Okay.
academic requirement is not very high as it used to be. So it used to be level
Okay.
6. Now
हाँ.
level 3 is acceptable. The salary
Okay.
scale is also much lower than it used to
Okay.
be. And
अच्छा.
the
Okay.
very important, the third point, which is extremely important, that the employers in the UK who are sponsoring the migrant overseas worker, they do
Yeah.
not have
Yeah.
to carry out the resident labor market test. So previously, what
Okay.
used to happen is the
हाँ.
employers had to advertise the position for a
हाँ.
period of 28 days to
हम्म.
convince and prove to the Home Office that the worker that they're looking for is not available in the UK market. And
Okay.
therefore, they have to sponsor a migrant worker from overseas. So this
Okay.
requirement is no longer there. And therefore, this category is very attractive and would be very popular as well to come into the country on a work
So
permit
that's a
visa.
great news. Very मतलब थोड़ा सा
Absolutely.
lenient हो
Yes.
गए, थोड़ा सा lenient हो गए हैं ना होम ऑफिस वाले भी,
Yes.
हालात की
Yes,
वजह से obviously है
definitely.
ना? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
अब
it's
हम्म
जी, आप बोलिए.
अच्छा अब दूसरा सवाल था. If you have anything else to say, just say, and then I'll put it second question to you.
Yeah, these are the two main good positive news from the Home Office, and I believe they are going to be very popular categories with a holistic view on whole of immigration. So for
Okay.
professionals, this is going to be really good. So from student to highly skilled
Fantastic.
professionals under the work category, this is going to be good.
Hmm.
There's some good news from
Wonderful.
the business front as well, but I've just looked at
Okay.
what I've mentioned up to now. This is students coming into the country to study and then getting onto the ladder of working in the UK and then leading on to a skilled worker visa, which would lead on to British citizenship.
Wow. Great news. I'm sure they must be relieved, बिचारे बच्चे. अच्छा. Can I
बिल्कुल.
put a second question to you, which is again very important? EU settlement scheme is ending soon, as you know. So when is the deadline to apply, and who should apply to the scheme?
That's a very popular and very common question since last year, since Brexit took place in December 2020. So
Huh.
the EU settlement scheme is because as UK has now come out of the European Union, which that is all
Yes.
Brexit about, how it affects the
Yeah.
immigration. So
Yeah.
anyone from the EU country, people who are in the UK, who have been in the UK for 5 years, had to apply or must apply for their settlement status by the 30th
For
of June
5 years. I mean,
2021.
Shalini,
Yes.
you said 5 years. Okay. That's very
5 years.
important to
So,
know.
yes.
Okay.
So they have completed 5 years in the UK. They are eligible for settled status and they must apply. The deadline is 30th June 2021, after which they will not be able to apply.
Okay.
People
30th
who,
June
yeah,
2021. Okay.
which is the end of this month.
बिल्कुल. And
The,
only a week or so.
the other important thing about the EU settlement scheme is that people, the European citizens who have been in the UK for a period shorter than 5 years, must also make an application before the 30th June 2021 for pre-settled status.
Okay.
So people who have not completed the 5 years.
Okay.
And
All right.
and there's another third category of people. If someone has been in the UK for more than 5 years and they already have their permanent residence card, they must also make an application to just switch their biometric card to a settled status card. And this, the Home Office is doing free of charge, so they don't have to pay a fee for the Home Office.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. All right.
So this
I
is
have
something
another
really important. Yeah.
Okay. This is something very important. Yes, definitely. I mean, it all shows कि बहुत lenient हो रहे हैं, obviously.
Well,
Okay.
because we have come out, UK has come out of the European Union.
European
This
Union,
was
yeah.
yes, so these were the transitionary steps that have been in place for people, for European citizens who want to continue to live in the UK. Then these are the steps they must take. Otherwise, they
They
need
must.
to leave the UK and return to their country.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Another question is that I have a permanent residence. Do I need to apply to EU settlement scheme?
That's exactly what I'd mentioned. Yes, they need to apply, even though they have a residence card, they need to apply for the settlement under the settlement scheme and get the new card. And there is no fee for the Home Office. So
Okay.
very important to make the application before the end of this month.
Okay. Yeah, this is very important. 30th of June, 2021, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Okay.
The
Okay.
other thing now, Saida, that now that we are discussing about the European citizens and the settlement scheme,
Yeah.
since Brexit now, the European citizens, there was a lot of leeway and flexibility and a lot of rights they had when UK was part of the European Union. But
Hmm.
now European citizens would be considered under the same immigration rules as any other country when they wish to come to the UK. So, for example,
Okay.
we looked at the skilled worker visa or a student visa. Before, they could just enter the country and then apply to study, to work with no
Yeah.
restrictions. But now the
Now
immigration rules apply to European citizens as well.
as well. Okay. All right. Okay. Are you okay? You see that the problem is that we
A
cannot.
lot of information to take in, isn't it?
Yes, I know. This is it. Acha, okay. What can someone do if they wish to return to their homes? Their visa is expiring soon, but cannot return to their country due to travel disruptions or COVID-19, obviously, if they are in red zone area.
Yes.
Very important
I
question.
think yes, yes, absolutely. This situation has been carrying on for more than 1 year, which is Home Office had brought out guidance that anyone who's been in the country since January 2020 on a visit visa, for example, visit visas are
Mm.
generally valid for a period of 6 months. And then we have the national lockdown, and this has become a global issue. So, Home Office had extended the visit visa. So if someone's visa was expiring, let's say in June 2020, they extended the visas without the applicant becoming an overstayer in the country. So what the
Okay.
Home Office has now, you still have to submit an online application if your visa is expiring or you had a temporary extension of your visit visa or any other visa. So it's an online
Mhm.
application on the Home Office website. And if you submit it with some information regarding the medical condition as to why you cannot return, if the COVID situation in the home country is really poor, then put some documentary evidence. It's a very short and simple form, which applicants can do themselves as well, and request for the extension, which is called the exceptional assurance. So this has been fairly straightforward, and which is something very helpful that the government has done for people who are stranded in the UK who had come to visit families. We've seen especially elderly dependents that parents have been visiting their children in for a holiday and they have got stranded here and the British citizens children who were the sponsors of their parents, medical was obviously a concern that if you are here for more than a period of 6 months, then if you came with travel insurance that becomes invalid as well.
Oh,
So
yes.
GPs, local GPs, what I have heard from our clients that GPs have looked after the visitors who do not have permanent leave to remain in the UK. And of
Mm.
course, emergency treatment at A&E at hospitals is also free of charge. So
Okay.
this is something that people who are on limited leave to remain and if visas are expiring and they wish to return, they can have that temporary extension of leave in the UK.
Extension. But Shalini, sometimes they can also misuse it, isn't it? Temporary के बजाय लोग रह जाएं यहाँ पे और गायब हो जाएं, वो भी तो हो सकता है कि नहीं?
Yes, of course, that's always there. But again, the Home Office has introduced some guidance in the first lockdown, and which
Mm.
again is extremely helpful. That if someone is here in the country and they actually want to switch into another country and wish to live in the UK, then they
Mm.
can make an application, a valid application, rather than becoming an overstayer. Make a valid application that you would do from your home country. So you don't have to
Okay.
travel back make an application from there and come back into the UK. So, which again was very helpful. We did a lot of applications in such a manner as well. So, if someone was on a visitor visa but was qualifying for another category of visa, then while they were stranded in the UK, we switched them into that category, complying with the
Okay.
full criteria of the immigration rules. So that is
Oh,
still
okay.
allowed. That is
That is
still
still allowed.
allowed,
Is
and
there any
that is
time
still
limit for
allowed.
that? Is there any time
Not at the
limit for that or
moment.
no?
Yeah, no, not at the moment. Home Office is, of course, looking case by case. So it's not just a general category, but they would look at your circumstances as to why you're making this application in country. So strong representation, but it's definitely possible.
Okay. By the way, which are the countries were still under red zone areas? Would you know that?
Um,
And
we
is there
have got
any
a lot
hope
of
in the
clients
future?
from.
Yeah.
Yes, red list is a challenge. India and Pakistan are on red list at the moment, and
Yeah.
several other countries. So if British citizens or Irish citizens or someone who has got limited leave to remain, by which I mean that if someone has got more than 6 months who are not visitors, then they
Mhm.
are able to come back to the UK rather
Okay.
than
All
just
right.
come into the UK, even
Mm.
though their country might be on red list, but they have to then go into a quarantine at a government managed hotel for 10 days, which is quite expensive. It's about 1,750 per person. So a 10-day
Mhm.
quarantine, but you can still return to the UK. Now, if they are students, then it's all online studying that's going on. So even if they're stranded in their home country or anywhere else in the world, then they can carry on with their education. There was one very challenging situation, well, not just one, but several challenging situations that people are facing, which I
Mm.
would like to mention. One specific one is people who get their indefinite leave to remain in the UK uh,
Mm.
do not have to live in the UK, so they can be anywhere else in the world or in their home country. But to
Mm.
retain their indefinite leave to remain in the UK, they must visit the UK at least once in 2 years, even
Once in?
though it's just for once in 2 years. So even though it's for a very short period of time, but they must visit the UK once in 2 years to retain their indefinite leave to remain.
Okay.
Now, because of
Okay.
COVID and the lockdown, there have been people whose the period of 2 years was expiring, and they wish to come to
Uh-huh.
the UK to make sure that they retain their indefinite leave to remain, but they've not been able to do that. So they were
Mm.
worried that they will lose their indefinite leave to remain. So it's very important
Okay.
if people are in that situation, it might be a good idea to just send some representations to the Home Office just to let them know that their plan was to come back to the UK to retain their indefinite leave
Mm.
to remain, but due to COVID, they're not being able to do that. So at least when they are ready to come back into the country, it would not jeopardize their legal position.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, talking about the quarantine, people coming back to UK, and they're, I mean, it's UK funded, like you said, and but still they have to pay so much. 1,750 is not a small amount. But
No, it's
they're
not.
horror stories,
Absolutely.
Shalini. For God's sake, they are being treated inhumanly. There are so many, not one, now two, in five-star hotels. They are being treated like they're in concentration camps. They're criminals. What, where can they go? Who can this they contact? कोई human rights का कुछ यहाँ पे सिलसिला होता है कि नहीं होता है?
Well,
Honestly, I
I
mean,
think,
none.
yeah. Um, we've had some clients as well who have actually come entered the country in this period and had to quarantine in the hotels.
Yeah.
And I suppose the government is, at least rather than closing all flights, this is the alternate way that they have worked out. But I believe that the UK government is considering that if people returning to the UK have both their vaccinations, then they might not have to quarantine. But this is, I believe, still under consultation.
Oh, they're still in the
It
concert.
is
Okay.
challenging, but at least the doors are open that if there's an emergency and you really want to come back, then the
Mm.
flights are there and there is an option. Because as we can see that the virus has spread or is spreading quite intensely. As soon as the lockdown is relaxed, the situation is again getting worse.
So are we anticipating another lockdown?
Difficult for me to comment on that, but everyone needs to be prepared for the worst. We've been through the worst, so we know what to expect. And I suppose everyone needs to take the precautions as much as they
Mm.
can.
Mm. Yeah, precautions.
So
I
if
think
it's
this is
not
the.
important,
Mm.
yeah, so if it's not important to travel, then uh,
Then
the
don't
government
avoid.
and we urge as well clients that if you can avoid it, then please do. We can assist in looking after the immigration status if that's what they're concerned about, rather than risking their lives and their families. Then we
Yes.
can
Yes.
assist them. Because sometimes
Mm.
people feel our visa is expiring and we will lose our immigration status, and they
Yes.
feel that
Yes.
they're
Yes.
compelled to travel. So there are
Right.
ways. The government has been very accommodating, the Home Office has been, so we can help uh, with matters such as that.
Okay. Okay. Um, there's another question. Um, if someone was granted a UK visa, but now we have done this one, uh, uh, and they're stuck in their home country due to COVID, what can they do?
If they
Someone is
are
like,
stuck in the,
yeah,
yes,
granted a UK visa, but they're stuck
right,
in their own home country.
right,
Suppose,
right,
yeah, somebody's want to come
yes,
from India and they've got the valid visa, but they cannot come
yes.
because of the. So what do they do now? Come and have
Well,
and stay in the quarantine, 10 days quarantine, and what?
no, they don't have to. No, they don't
They don't.
have to. What they can do is, because it's if they come and even do the quarantine and then they come out from there, because of the lockdown, there's not much they would be able to do. So perhaps it might be for practical purposes, and if you're looking at from more of a logistic point of view, then it might be better just to stay in their home country until the
Hmm.
situation is totally under control. So what they can do if they've got their visas granted, which is not a visitor visa, they
Hmm.
can make an extension application with the British High Commission, where they got their visa issued from, to get another BRP, which would give them an extension. There is a small fee for that, but you can make
Okay.
an application, get that extension. That should not be a
Okay.
problem.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
they
I
don't
mean,
have
they
to
will,
travel.
but the Home Office will take this into consideration, isn't it? I mean, the
Absolutely.
situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if the
Yes.
visa
Again,
expires, they
just
can again apply for another
yes.
one. Yeah.
Yes, but they must apply before the validity
The
of
ex- the
the
visa.
visa is expiring. And
Mm.
this is more for people who are, this does not include the visit visas. For example,
Mm.
students, or someone's got a work permit visa approved or got a business visa, which is longer
Mm.
than 6 months. And
Mm.
they have to come and collect their biometric cards in the UK, then they can make an application. If the country's on red list or in their own home country there are travel restrictions, then they can
Okay.
do so.
Another question is about spouse visa. Can you shed some light on the spouse visa? Is there any changes in it? Is there lenient about it, or they still have to pay certain amount to get their better half from wherever?
Yes, with spouse visas, the rules are the same as they used to be. So the sponsor spouse should be earning 18,600 per annum. Or if they're
600.
self-employed, then it's a similar um, amount that they must be
Okay.
earning,
Okay.
which is
So there's no
gross.
change in this. There's no change in
There
this
is no
policy.
change in this. Yes. I suppose if someone has been on furlough, so if there's
Furlough.
an
Yeah.
employee, for
Yeah.
example, and
Yeah.
they've been on furlough and only receiving 80% of their salary, which actually brings down the annual
Yes.
salary lower than
Yeah.
18,600. However, their permanent normal income was 18,600. So we can
Mm.
make those exceptional circumstances representations to the visa officer, just explaining the situation that actually
Mm.
the income before COVID was 18,600 or more. It's only because of
Mm.
COVID or the furlough scheme that it's much lesser. So again, depending on case to case what the situation is with the sponsor spouse, we can look into that, because something like this would affect families, because then you are not able to sponsor your spouses, which is going to delay matters and would have an effect on, again, on mental health as well. The emotional well-being and
Yes.
overall
Yes.
can be
Yes.
quite
That's
damaging.
that's very. So, so what from the medical point of view? What are the requirements for a spouse to come? Do do they need to have a vaccination complete and a certificate, or or what? Or
At the moment, regarding the vaccination for COVID, I'm not aware of anything like that. But
okay.
the as long as the travel restrictions are not there. So again, if someone has a spouse visa issued in and they're in their home country, because
Huh.
it's more than 6 months, it's leading on to settlement. They can
Hmm.
travel even if their country is on the red list in the UK. They would
Acha.
just
Okay.
have to, yeah, so they can travel, they'll have to quarantine in a hotel. If they don't
Okay.
want to do that, then they will just have to
Hmm.
wait for a little while longer. So at least the options are there. If you wish to
Okay.
travel,
Hmm.
if you wish to
Hmm.
travel, you can. You'll have to quarantine in a hotel, or you can
Hmm.
just wait until the situation eases off. If your leave is
Mhm.
expiring, you can make an extension application in your home country to get the
Hmm.
extension.
Okay. Another very interesting question has just come. A lady who is stuck in the red zone country, and she was hoping to come back, but because of the restriction, I mean, she's expecting the baby anytime, and she ideally
Right,
wanted to have a baby in UK because she's a UK citizen, to have a
right.
UK passport. So now,
Yes,
what should you do? Because the baby will be born wherever the red zone areas. So, what is the procedure
yes,
for her and the baby?
right. Um, if the lady is a British citizen or she has got indefinite leave to remain, then where the baby is born, it would not
Hmm.
have an effect on the status of the baby. So once the baby is born and she comes back to the UK, if she's British, then the baby would still get a British passport.
So in which passports the
So,
baby can travel?
so the baby can, once the baby is born, depending on the immigration status of the mother, we can make
Uh-huh.
an application while they are there in their home
Hmm.
country, and
Hmm.
relevant applications can be made which would have been done in the UK. So it'll be a similar process.
Okay.
So that can be dealt with while they're there. So should not worry about that too much.
They should contact the UK British consulate in their hometown. Yeah,
Yes, yes, certainly.
they can
Yes.
do that.
And yes, and make the relevant applications as soon as the baby is born. So they would be
Okay.
able then to bring the baby with them.
Okay. Now we have another question. What if someone has ILR or valid leave to remain in UK, but they are abroad in a red list country and they want to come back to UK? So what is the procedure for that? ILR.
Right. Yes, I think this is what I just previously mentioned as a general example, and I think a lot of people are facing this issue, so you've got
Yeah,
that
yeah,
question again. Um,
yeah.
if someone's got ILA, which is indefinite leave to remain in the UK, and they are not residing in the UK and have made the UK their main residence, then they are required to enter the UK at least once in 2 years to keep their
Ah,
ILR.
you mentioned that
And
earlier. I remember
yeah,
that. Yes.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So if
Okay.
they have not been able to travel due to COVID restrictions, then it's very important that before the 2 years lapse, at least send a letter to the Home Office of representations, which would be updated in their system. So once the
Hmm.
situation is eased off with the lockdown and the coronavirus, and they are
Hmm.
traveling, they would not have any issues, and that would be taken as exceptional circumstances. So it's very important to make some representations, though.
Okay. Okay. And again, my parents are elderly, and because of the COVID, I would like to bring them in UK because I'm a valid UK citizen. Because they're on
Yeah.
their own and there's no help over there.
Yes.
So, what is the procedure for that?
Saeeda, this is one category that we have dealt with. We've seen such a massive influx of applications since
You
we
have.
went
You
into
have.
lockdown last year. Yes,
Hmm.
because like I said
Okay.
before, a lot of elderly parents were visiting their British children and they got stranded here.
Yeah.
They have some of the parents have been here for more than 1 year because of the lockdown, and it's not been possible for them to travel back because being elderly, they are
Yeah.
highly vulnerable individuals. So it's not safe for
Yeah.
them to travel. And of course, their British children are also concerned um, with the risk of catching the virus. So we have
Huh.
made several applications in country while the elderly parents have been in the UK for extension of leave, not just extension, but also leave to remain in the UK on a long-term basis, leading on to British citizenship. As the
Okay.
coronavirus has just put such a new spin to the situations of elderly people living back home where their children are settled overseas and there's no
Yeah.
one to look after them. Because with
Yeah. Yeah.
coronavirus, what it is that people who have got the virus, then other people cannot come and help them. And if your family is
Yes.
not there and you're dependent on maybe domestic workers or neighbors or family to help,
Yeah. Yeah.
then it it can be fatal. So um,
Huh.
we have done many applications with the elderly dependent route, either just as an extension or for permanent leave to remain.
So how? What is the
So yes,
duration
the
that
answer, the
what is the
duration
duration
is
that the elderlies can apply for British citizenship?
what they would guess is leave to remain in the UK for 2.5 years,
Hmm.
which is then going to be extended at the end of the period. Once leave
Okay.
is granted for this period, they would be allowed to work and they would be eligible for NHS treatment and medication. The
Okay.
only thing that they will not be allowed is to claim public funds.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Like
it is just
like
like,
social benefit and all
yes,
that.
that's correct. Other
Okay.
than that,
And
um,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Another, I think this is another, again, a question I'm repeating. Last time I remember I repeated. And as my parents are elderly and they have a domestic help, any procedure that
Sorry.
they can bring the domestic help with them when once they visit UK. That's very important. Elderlies, they cannot travel
Yes,
on their own. And,
that's correct.
so is there any leniency in this law?
It used to be very lenient before 2012.
I
And
know, you
the
told me
domestic
that.
work, yes, the domestic worker visa is still there. And whoever's coming into the country can bring their domestic worker with them, but the
Yeah.
visa is valid for only 6 months. So it's more or less like a visitor visa, but it clearly says that it is under the domestic worker category. So at the end of 6 months, they are not allowed to extend it in country. That's the difference.
Oh, okay.
Before, they were allowed to extend in country and just remain in the UK. But now they
So
have to
they
leave
have
the
to leave.
country. They
Yeah,
have to
and
leave
then,
the country and then come
huh?
back again when their employer is going to come again on a domestic worker
No, but
visa. So
can,
unfortunately, yeah.
but Shalini, can this happen that the parents are here, the domestic workers visa expires after 6 months, she leaves or he leaves, and then come back again on their own instead
Well,
of the parents? The parents,
n-
they
no, they are not
no,
allowed to travel on their own. They have to
they
travel
have
with
to
their
accompany.
employer. Yes. But
Okay,
again,
okay.
if families have traveled with their domestic worker visa and they have been
Mm,
stranded in the UK since
mm.
last year, then the domestic worker will also get that extension under the exceptional
Okay,
assurance.
that's important point, Shalini, you mentioned.
Yes,
Okay.
so everyone who has been in the country since January last year on
Yeah.
short-term visas or visit visas, they
Hmm.
have got extensions under the exceptional assurance. So what the government is saying, if you wish to stay here permanently, make an
Hmm.
application under that category, or you can apply for exceptional assurance, which is only giving them small extensions, which you can apply for repeatedly if your
Okay.
situation continues for any reason why you're not able to return to your home country. So, how
Okay.
long this is going to carry on, we don't know, but
Hmm.
it's still there. If your leave is expiring anytime
Hmm.
soon, you
Hmm.
can request for an extension to the Home Office. Like I
Okay.
said, it's a very simple, short online application form for exceptional
Okay.
assurance.
Okay. All right. Okay. Another question. I adopted my child, relative's child, abroad after they passed away in COVID-19. Um, how can I bring my adopted child to UK?
Right. This is another very tragic situation that we have seen recently is if both parents of young children
Yeah.
have passed away
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
the extended family or siblings are here in the UK and then they have adopted the children, then they need to bring them here.
Yeah.
Adoption process in the UK is very strict and very stringent. I
Okay.
suppose it's the same in other countries as well. But there's a whole protocol that needs to be followed. Social services over here should be contacted as well, just to be on the right track and do your correct due diligence. If the child has been adopted legally in the proper legal manner in the home country, because every country has got a different legal system of adoption,
Okay.
then
Okay.
yes, an application can be made. We have helped few families in this situation to bring young children under the age of 18 to live here
Okay.
with them.
Understood. Yeah. So okay. So it's. I mean, there's more scope for the children under the age of 18 to get the
Yes, because
clearance. Is it?
yes, above the age of 18, the Home Office takes the view that one becomes an adult and can lead an independent life. But again, if someone is over the age of 18 and is still in full-time education and was completely reliant upon their parents for emotional, physical, and education financially, then yes,
Hmm.
an application can be made on exceptional circumstances
Okay.
to the Home Office.
So what is the paperwork that needs to be worked on in the home they're coming from the country they're coming from?
The
What are
paperwork
the
for
required legal paperwork?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, the paperwork. What UK government says is the adoption should actually be done under the Hague Convention, which actually I would not go into the detail, but it's actually a full 2-year process. So
Yeah.
to give an example, we are recently just dealing with a matter for a family who are British citizens, and the lady who's a British citizen, her brother, her sister-in-law in India passed
Uh-huh.
away, and
Uh-huh.
the parent of the lady, so the grandfather of the children, also passed away. So 3 family members were lost, and children
Oh.
are aged under the age of 15.
Oh God.
And
Oh.
so if the process is going to take 2 years, if you look at it from a practical point of view, you cannot leave the children over there. And something
No.
needs to be done fairly
Yeah.
quickly
Yeah.
and swiftly.
Yeah.
So,
Someone
we are at the
responsible in their
moment,
country also, Shalini. I mean, if they're under the age of 15, obviously they got to be someone to help them and guide them.
yes,
Who's going to help them, especially for all the legal
absolutely.
matters? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And especially in this traumatic situation where your brain would just stop working as well. I can't imagine
Yes.
what families must be going through. But
Yes.
time is of the essence in such situations. And
Of
of
course.
course, we
Yeah.
have the legal process to expedite
Hmm.
that. And then you
Okay.
have the legal process for 2 countries, in the home country and in the UK, because with adopting young children, there are, like I
Hmm.
said, very strict rules because of human trafficking, child trafficking. The
Oh
correct
yes.
procedures need to be followed as well.
Yes. Yes. Oh yes.
But
Yeah.
we have the local MPs in this country are very helpful.
Okay.
So
Okay. Local
what
MPs.
we have
Okay.
done, yes, local MPs, just to put pressure in respect of the timing, the processing period can be quite
Yeah. How long
long,
does it take?
and at least
Quite.
uh,
Yeah.
any application with the Home Office can take up to 6 months or up to a year, and
Oh.
depending on the backlog. So where a situation like this, which is extremely exceptional and tragic, something really needs to be done to help them. So
Yeah.
as long
Yeah.
as we are following the criteria, then at least it'll speed up and there's no hold up, that the correct
Hmm.
paperwork is not in place. But then we really
Hmm.
need to push the boat out to get the children here in the UK.
Hmm. Okay. I am in tier 4 visa student, failed my course. What can I do? Can I change my course?
That's another very common issue that we see that our clients are facing is if they have come into the country to follow a course and they have to sit for exams again, maybe 2 or 3
Hmm.
attempts, and
Huh.
the leave is expiring, then the university or the college is not extending their leave because the rules
Huh.
say that you are supposed to go back to your home country and then
Hmm.
apply for another new student visa and then come back into the country, either on a new
Yeah, but
course or depending on the situation, what exactly it is to continue with the
yeah,
same
but the
course.
situation is different now, isn't it?
That's right. So
Hmm.
we have seen there is no consistency at the moment with the Home Office. So we have
Hmm.
seen um, similar situation, but different
Hmm.
outcomes. So we are urging
Okay.
the students to actually contact the university to see how the university can actually help the
Okay.
student, because it's not possible
Okay.
to go back to their home country and then come back again,
Of
especially
course. Of course.
considering that a huge amount of tuition fee is
Yes.
paid.
Yes.
So it doesn't
Hmm.
help the student to abandon their
Hmm.
studies midway and then be
Hmm.
left with nothing. Or then to make an application to the Home Office to
Huh.
request to issue them with the letter that they are
Isn't it?
able to then get a CAS letter from a university to continue their studies. So again, there
Okay.
is it is at the discretion of the Home Office, but the first point of contact would be the universities to put in
Okay.
representations with them and
Okay.
get some sort of conditional acceptance certificate from
Okay.
them.
Shalini, only got 1 minute left now. Quickly, if you can tell me what options people have who wish to set up a branch, office, or a new business in UK. Just in few words, and then we are done.
Um,
Thank you so much.
fantastic fantastic categories for businesses who want to set up branch
Yeah.
offices or who want to start a new business. Branch
Yeah.
offices, really good because it doesn't require any investments. And
Okay.
there are other categories. If you have got a very innovative, a unique business idea, then they can apply for a
Mm-hmm.
startup visa, which is
Mm-hmm.
valid for 2 years. And if they can
Okay.
come in, set up their business, and then switch on to the innovator visa, and then apply
Mm-hmm.
for or be eligible for indefinite leave to remain in a period of 5 years. So, really
Wow.
good, fantastic categories for
Opportunity.
business as well.
Okay,
Absolutely.
lovely. Thank you. We are towards the end of the time. I'm really utterly grateful to you. Such vitally important questions that you have so beautifully you have explained to the viewers. I hope they like it. Thank you, and we'll bother you once again. Let's see when.
I look forward to it.
Anyway,
Thank you, Syed.
डेफिनेटली थैंक यू सो मच जी नाजरीन काफ़ी लंबी जैसे मैंने कहा तवील सवाल की फहरिस्त थी एंड अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वी हैव मैनेज टू टैकल ऑल ऑफ देम थैंक यू सो मच देखते हैं नेक्स्ट टाइम किसी नए मेहमान के साथ सईदा रिजवी को जब